What's up YouTube, Crispy Charizard here. Today I'll be discussing the good and bad things that I've seen about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee based on the trailers I've seen so far. Now I may not catch every single detail, but if I've missed anything, you could let me know in the comments down below. So without further ado, let's get started. And I'll be starting out with the bad points first. Now one of the biggest things that I've seen in these upcoming games that I didn't like, of course, was the hairstyles. The hairstyles that you can give Pikachu and Eevee, they have got to go. I don't want anything to do with them. So that's why they are at the top of the list as the worst possible thing in these games. End of discussion, no question about it. Hairstyles for the Pokemon are not needed, and I think they're ugly. Now, am I joking or am I being serious about this? That's for you to decide. The next thing I didn't like in the trailers about these games actually doesn't have anything to do with the games themselves, but something that comes along with the games. And that, of course, is the Pokeball Plus. Now, the Pokeball Plus is an expensive item that you can buy separately from the games, which is actually just an optional version of a Joy-Con, and it also lets you store a Pokemon inside of it to take around with you, so it's reminiscent of Generation 4's Pokewalker. Now, the reason I don't like this is because it is an unnecessary cash grab meant to attract profit, basically. But of course, it shouldn't really be on this list because it has nothing to do with the game itself. It's just a separate product for people who can afford it. So maybe I shouldn't have mentioned anything. Moving along, the biggest problem that most people have with these games is the mechanics of catching wild Pokemon, or encountering them in any form. Now, in every game of the main series so far, you would have to battle wild Pokemon and lower their HP and maybe give them a status condition to make them easier to catch. Now, if you're lucky, you can catch a Pokemon with a Pokeball without ever lowering its HP, and there are many different types of Pokeballs, but unfortunately, Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee has went the route of Pokemon Go. The mechanics are virtually identical to Pokemon Go. There's a circle with another circle inside of it that keeps shrinking and resetting. But what really doesn't sit well with most people, what really bothers me, is that they just got rid of battling wild Pokemon altogether. It's just like in Pokemon Go. You don't battle them, you don't lower their HP. Maybe you get points, except it's not points because there's no Stardust and there's no candies and there's no experience when it comes to getting the Pokeball in the smaller circle. So I don't see how this mechanic makes any sense. It's useless. It's not the same system as Pokemon Go, but the mechanics are the same, so it's unnecessary. Not only that, but they brought back something that hasn't been seen since the original Generation 1. But Pokemon Go introduced Pokemon dodging Pokeballs, and Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee seems to have done the same thing, because obviously Pokemon can dodge the Pokeball. And of course, another horrible thing is that the Pokemon can run away. Now, they do this in Pokemon Go, and they do this in the main series in certain situations, like, for example, roaming legendaries like Entei and Raikou in Generation 4. This is not something people enjoy. But of course, this is only the few bad points about the games we've seen in the trailers, but there are a lot of good things as well. The first thing that is good about these games is that instead of just making a remake of Yellow and calling it Let's Go Pikachu, they decided to include Eevee on the marketing and make Eevee some sort of mascot almost equal to Pikachu in popularity. And this is a good thing because it's a little bit more diverse. It gives people more options because some people prefer Eevee over Pikachu, and some people who prefer Pikachu now have a rival in Eevee. Because of course, Eevee, in my opinion, is just as cute as Pikachu, if not even cuter. The second good point about the games is the return of Pokemon following you. Now this, of course, was introduced in Pokemon Yellow, the original Pokemon Yellow, with Pikachu following you. But since in this game it seems that Pikachu and Eevee are on your shoulder or head at all times, that means you can have two Pokemon outside the Pokeball at the same time, with Pokemon as simple as Magikarp following you, or even more exciting as the starters. Ever since Gen 4, when Heart Gold and Soul Silver lets you have any Pokemon in the Pokedex follow you, people have wanted this return for a long time, and they were almost sure that Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon had included it, including myself having thought that. And now, despite not having a full Pokedex, it seems that this is the closest thing we'll get to having any Pokemon following you. It may not be any Pokemon outside of Kanto, but it'll still bring satisfaction to people who love having Pokemon following you, because it is just something that makes people happy. It is something that makes the game personal, and it makes the games more enjoyable. Now this brings up the point of Kanto having only 151 Pokemon, which I was going to include on this list as both a good and bad thing, but I didn't include it at all, but I'm going to make a mention right now. The bad thing is that you don't get to play this game with all the hundreds of Pokemon you've grown to love from Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, Unova, Kalos, and Alola. This game is Kanto only, and I've heard that there's some Alolan forms of those Kanto Pokemon included somewhere, but other than that, it is just a pure remake of Yellow. Now, the reason people don't like this is because they are used to main games having some sort of national Pokedex, and they want to catch them all. So it seems kind of boring to some to have the Pokedex have only the Kanto Pokemon, and you are stuck in the Kanto region. But the good thing about this is that people who actually want to complete a game's Pokedex will have an easier time doing it. And I'm saying this half jokingly, half seriously. Completing the Pokedex is actually possible now, because you only have 150 Pokemon to catch, as opposed to 807 like in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. So if you're one of those people who really want to fill the Pokedex, which has been difficult to near impossible in the last few years because every generation introduces new Pokemon, well, this remake will bring you back to basics and actually make it possible. I'm not going to say it's easy, but at least it's possible. So for some of you should be grateful that there's only 150 Pokemon to catch, because it should be a lot easier for you now. The third great thing about this game is that you can ride certain Pokemon, like the classics Charizard, Lapras, Onix, and Arcanine. Overall, it's a great inclusion, and it makes the game that much better. The next good point is that even though this is a remake of Yellow, it is a little different. Of course, lots of things are the same, including the gym leaders, supposedly, and even the anime Steam Rocket, because the original Pokemon Yellow was based very closely on the anime, so James and Jesse and Meowth will be in Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, because it was based on Yellow, which was based on the anime. But I also know that this game is not exactly like Yellow. Your rival is called Friendly, and even though I can't remember the name that they revealed for him, if they did at all, he's technically not really blue, or green as he's known in Japan. This version of Blue, because I still think he's a remake or a redesign of Blue, is different, and he's not the only thing. The story itself might be different. Apparently in the original Yellow, you didn't get a choice of 1 out of 3, but this scene of the trailer shows something that looks very similar to the games of Red and Blue, or Fire Red and Leaf Green. So we don't know exactly anything, we can only theorize, but since we know that you're going to end up with Pikachu or Eevee, like in Yellow, something about this might be an addition to the story. So even though the changes might be small, they're enough to make this game an enjoyable experience that no one will be able to just say it's a carbon copy of Pokemon Yellow. It's a remake, yes, but it's still a little different. And that just makes the game exciting and enjoyable. The fifth good point is that you can care for Pokemon just like it was introduced in X and Y with Pokemon Ami, and Sun and Moon continued it with Pokemon Refresh. But in Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, it looks like your partner Pokemon, but I don't know if it's any others. Your partner Pokemon can sit on your arm and you can interact with them and pet them and make them happy. But I think that it's something that makes the game experience customizable, personal. I think it is a nice inclusion that makes the game more fun and enjoyable. The sixth feature of this game that seems to be very interesting, but not really as important as any of the others on this list, is that they gave Eevee a visual gender difference, which hasn't been included before. Apparently now the tails are different between a male and female Eevee. The reason I include this on the list is because it seems to make Eevee more equal to Pikachu in its aspects, since Pikachu's had an obvious gender difference for years now. But overall, it's not that significant. It's something that I wish has been done long ago. I say it's overdue, but other than that, it's just something that makes the game a little bit more interesting and obviously will affect future games as well. Since Eevee, of course, will be returning in future generations and future games. And now this is just something for fans to look out for. The 7th great feature about Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee is that you can customize your characters, as was introduced back in Generation 6. The costume options are very interesting and seem to make the game more customizable and more enjoyable. As everyone knows from playing X and Y or Sun and Moon, whether it be a safari outfit or a sailor outfit, anyone can wear almost whatever they want, and it is something that makes any game more customizable and more personal. And that goes into the 8th feature that makes the games better, and that is customizable partners, where they can wear costumes just like you, and they even match sometimes. So I'm assuming that since you can customize Pikachu and Eevee, that the games will be extremely personal and enjoyable, because this is something new. Since you could customize yourself back in X and Y and Sun and Moon, customizing your partner, however, is a little bit newer. While there seems to be a reminiscence to cosplay Pikachu back in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, this seems to have no aspect in battle, but lets your Pikachu wear a cool or cute costume, or your Eevee, anywhere, including in battle. I don't know how many options there are, but this seems to be a great inclusion to the game, which lets everyone have a different looking partner Pokemon. The 9th feature that makes these games look exciting is that there are great designs and great artwork in the trailers. Whether it be the characters or their gyms, the artwork and the colors look superb. It is not exactly a Generation 7 level, but since it's on the Switch, we can expect this to be a level of detail that we have never seen before. I expect the animations and the details of the designs to surprise us. Based on the trailers by themselves, I'm already excited to see how detailed and designed the artwork can be in these games. Overall, it's one of the few things that improves with every generation, and I expect to get even better in the future. The 10th feature that makes these games better and even unique, more different than any games in the past, is the co-op play. Now, with a second player being able to join and sharing in your Pokemon, you could play in-game and make your journey less lonely and maybe even easier. This feature by itself makes this game extremely unique and carves out a niche for itself. The 11th feature that makes this game great is that you have the ability to battle and trade with other players using Wi-Fi or local. The absence of these features would have made this game a lot less fun to play. So the fact that they included it is a sign that this will be a fun game. Especially by trading and battling with fellow players. The 12th feature that I wanted to include on this list is that based on this map of Kanto that was released in-game, it looks like there may be no HMs in this game. Now, there's no confirmation just yet, but I'm pretty sure that if there's no HMs, that some difference was made to the overworld of Kanto, or at the very least something was replaced. Maybe instead of HMs we have some other way to get around. Maybe riding Pokemon will be similar to in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon and in Sun and Moon. I don't know for sure, and I'm putting a uncertain amount of confidence in this opinion. But if HMs really aren't in this game, then we can say for a fact that it is a better game after all, since HMs are something of the past that people have wanted to get rid of for years now, and the last generation has proven that games are much better without them. The 13th feature that seems unknown at this point, but we may have possibly figured something out from the trailer, is that instead of capturing legendaries like in Pokemon Go, you may actually be battling them like a trainer battle. We don't know for sure, but based on this part of the trailer, it looks like you possibly battle legendary Pokemon as if they were trainer Pokemon. So capturing them might be like the main series games. Now, I don't know why they couldn't have made all battles like this, why they couldn't keep wild battles the same. But at the very least, if they let us battle the 4 legendaries, Zapdos, Moltres, Articuno, and Mewtwo, as if they were trainer battles with us having to lower their health, even though they're wild Pokemon, in order to catch them, well then, that's satisfying. Of course, capturing them may be easier for some this way, it may be harder for some this way. I know for a fact that capturing legendary Pokemon in Pokemon Go isn't easy, but I've actually already caught 2 Moltres and an Articuno in Pokemon Go, so we know it's not impossible if I can do it. And that leads us to the 14th feature, which I'm excited to include on this list of great things about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, and it's related to Pokemon Go itself. And that is the feature that was mentioned, I believe it's called Go Park or something similar, where you can transfer any Pokemon you've caught in Pokemon Go to a Go Park where they wait for you to remove them whenever you want, or you could leave them there, and then they can join Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. It is a one-way transfer. You cannot transfer Pokemon from Let's Go to Go, but you can transfer any Pokemon from Go to Let's Go, with some exceptions. But the fact that you can transfer all of your other Pokemon that you caught in Go to Let's Go makes the game a little bit better. Now, for some, this is unnecessary, and some people don't even play Go, but they might play Let's Go, and some people play neither, and some people play both, but this will make catching certain Pokemon easier. For example, I know for a fact that certain Pokemon in Yellow, and I assume in Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, are difficult to capture, like Kangaskhan or Chansey. Furthermore, I know that there are version-exclusive Pokemon, like Bellsprout, Oddish, Growlithe, Vulpix, Meowth, and maybe another one that I can't remember. With these version exclusives, you have to trade over Wi-Fi with someone with the opposite game so you can capture the entire Pokedex if you want those Pokemon. However, Switch's Wi-Fi costs about, if I remember correctly, $20 a year. So if that's not an option, or if you don't even have any friends to trade with, or maybe you don't want to trade, one thing you could do is to capture the Pokemon you don't have access to in your version in Pokemon Go. For example, if you are playing Let's Go Pikachu and you can't catch Meowth because Meowth is exclusive to Let's Go Eevee, you can catch Meowth in Go, which is easy enough, transfer it to Go Park, and now you have a Meowth in Let's Go Pikachu. I may be speculating a lot, and not everything I said may be 100% true, but most of it has been implied by the trailers and by the press releases. So far, everything sounds great. If what I said is true, then this game looks like it's going to be a lot more fun than people think. And of course, the 15th feature that I really love about Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee is that you encounter wild Pokemon in the overworld. I give this a 10 out of 10. I don't know how long people have been dreaming about this. Everyone thinks this is a good idea. And overall, it is really great. Anyway, guys, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below what you think will be good or bad about Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Do you think my opinions are worth mentioning, or do you think I don't know what I'm talking about? All comments are welcome, within reason. Please like if you liked. Please subscribe and share if you really liked. And I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to check out my other videos on my channel.